Hey everybody. So, been a few days, did some extra stuff. Just checking out some paint colors. I did semi-gloss here on the frame. I have satin on the firewall. I haven't done behind the heater box or this side because I'm going to do all of it at one time. I just wanted to try it out, see what the color was going to look like. So, big thing I've been doing. This is probably the worst area in the whole truck. Is this. There was a huge hole at the bottom. There's still on the inner structure. I still got to work on it, to be 100% honest with you. Down here, I'm going to have to add some sheet metal down there, but I wanted to see how close all this stuff is to what I need. It still needs some fit and finish, and I need to grind and drill some holes, get ready for spot welds. But the overall shape seems to at least coordinate with it, so we should be okay there. But I done pulled that all out. Poor card. The other side actually looks really good if it'll focus. So this side down here, I'm guessing a rag. I think a rag came out of there when I was doing it. I had to get in it and just ate that side up because this side's fine. I mean, once again, even the floor pan on this side's really, there's a couple pinholes down there, but nothing extreme. And there you can see over there in the corner, right there, some of the holes that go through it. So I'm going to go back through there, fix that. I'll add some to it, get that knocked out. I put, just for giggles, the horn or the steering wheel stuff back on it. This one finished it up. So getting that stuff done. Oh, and I got the monster sway bar on it. Here's the one that came off. So that's a factory. I'd be surprised if that's 7/8. And to this monster here, which 1.25 inches, 1 3/8. I don't know, it's huge. It came with it, so I decided to leave it on there, or put it on there. Only sad thing is, one of the bolt holes here was stripped, so I had to drill it and tap it for 7/16 where it was 3/8 before, which probably makes more sense for that net massive bar. But I got all that stuff buttoned up. So we're getting it done. Once again, this is going to be a no sitting around twiddling your thumbs type build on this car. We're going to try and knock it out as fast and correctly as possible. I'm not cutting corners to get it done quicker. I got a couple places up here to fix. And then I started pulling this out with my stud gun. And it was pretty rough, but I got it pretty close. I think it's enough that I'm going to be able to mud it. Fix it. I guess something fell heavy hit right here. I might pull it up just a hair bit more. Hook it to a slide hammer and pull this and then that up to get that a little nicer. But it's coming along, so that's a huge bit of progress. Started beating this down, that one up there, and that one's low now, so that'll be a filler spot. The doors aren't terribly rough. There's maybe a couple patches that need to be done in either one of those, but we'll take time to do it right. And take this off so you can kind of see. The coolest part about all this is you can just take a regular air hammer if you know what you're doing, and just be careful. I'm not cutting through both. And that's it out. So don't let this be a job that scares you. So it's all cut out of it. So once again, down here is the place that's going to be really fun. I got another one of these panels in there that I could cut up and use. And I might do it. I might just trim it. The only problem is back in here, inside the, where you get inside the rocker itself. We'll figure it out. Even if I have to get a piece of brass back there and just weld it all up, and then I'll put some really good phosphoric acid, and then put a rust primer and paint on it. Should be a done deal. But once again, as long as you go in there with an air hammer and take your time to separate all the panels, none of this stuff's particularly difficult. Then the other thing that's really easy is when you go to put it back in, once again, mock it up, make sure it's where it needs to be. And then what I always do is take a take a marker, see how this bracket is right here. That bracket's going to be basically back here on this panel. So if you mark it, you can drill you a couple spot weld holes. Take one screw to pull it tight, weld, all this stuff. So mark it from the inside so you know where your holes need to be. And you can weld it up very, very easily. And then make it, you know, once again, super structurally strong and just done correct. I mean, there's a difference between doing it just to do it and then making sure the stuff's going to actually last. Check out that lower hinge. I got hinge rebuild kits too for both sides. That's going to need to be done. That arm might be done. I might be able to take my Dremel and, yeah, I'd probably take a Dremel and just make it flat again and then make these more predominant. When I put the roller back on it, I can do that. So it still works. That way the door actually stays open. So stay tuned. Hopefully here in the next probably 30-40 minutes, I'll go ahead and start cutting, trimming some stuff for this here to get it all cleaned up. I might pull the sandblaster out and really see what I got left here. I mean, it's structurally pretty sound, but that's where literally the stuff sat in it. Because the way a lot of people don't realize, in the GM cars, instead of like Dodge, it goes down to the center and just drips. It goes through the cowl, goes through all the way to the rocker panel, and then there's a hole all the way at the back where their game plan was the air was going to help push it through. But anything big enough, once again, like a rag, it stops it up, holds moisture forever. Mud, pine needles also are rough about it. That's what ate up the 71 Chevrolet truck when I was working on it. But we're moving forward, so hold on a minute. I'll go ahead and get some stuff done and I'll be right back. Alright, so got a little bit more done last night, just trying to do some trial fitting for this thing, and it seems like the most part it's going to be pretty okay. I got to drill some holes here that I can weld this down. This seems to be pushing it away down here at the bottom, so I got to figure out what's going on there. I mean, it's got a contour to it. Maybe it's too pronounced. I don't know. Still fits there. That looks good. Clean the majority of that stuff up. Might put one more little hole there and one in the top. But it's coming together. The biggest thing with this is it's pretty odd, weird places. But just to show you kind of what I've done on the backside too, once again, to make this process easier for when I start drilling the holes for the spot welds, you'll see that I've marked everything with a paint marker. So I know where the braces, it's kind of hard to see it, but even up there, where the braces are, so I know where to drill my holes to make sure it's welded in really solid. And I'm waiting. I got a little belt sander coming today to help clean up this mess down there. You just can't really get anything else in there to grind it. So I got a tiny, what, 1/2 inch belt sander coming. I've always wanted one. Now's the time to do it. So hopefully later that will be the decision I'll make. And then I did pull out the control arms too that came with the truck. And it looks like these are the max speeding rod units, because it uses, as far as I can tell, that looks like a Impala upper, which is longer, which helps, I guess, suspension geometry. So it might, I don't know, I feel like it looks a little weird, but I might go ahead and just order brand new Moog or somebody ball joints put in it, take those out. Otherwise the units look, the welds look pretty decent. You always have to open stuff up just a hair. None of them I've ever seen seat correctly, but I'll do that while it's apart, so it's not a big deal. The only real problem, and this is the way I got it, is it looks like one of these spacers for the lower control arm bushing is gone. So probably not the end of the world. I probably can make one. We'll have to look into that and see what's going on there. So those might go in there too. But before I can even do that, the engine has to go in. That way I can actually compress the coil springs to do all of that. So that's a possibility. So stay tuned. Hopefully here in the next, I gotta wait till I get weld through primer. I gotta clean it better too. And I gotta get weld through primer before I do any of that. Holes gone down there. That's just a nasty mess. That rust and pitting in there is real. I mean, I've cleaned most of it up. I welded this here, welded in there, but we'll keep on trucking. We'll do weld through primer, and I'll seal it real good. And then I still have to fix all this lower here, and then right here, there's holes. But after that, we're definitely getting closer. And then we're gonna try some of Rust Bullet. I'm probably gonna do the entire inside of the cowl before I put the actual cowl shoulder, the outer panel on it. So it's sealed up, seam sealed, do that, and it should be good. I'll probably even still bed line it on top too, because I just like how the bed liner stuff does. It gives a nice texture and seals. So not only does it kind of like, you think of it like a roof, like when you do seal a metal roof, it'll seal it, gives it a good texture to it, and it keeps it clean. So stay tuned. And not to get too distracted, I went ahead and decided to sandblast. I'm pulling the Bondo, by the way, out of the fender, the passenger fender on the 70 El Camino, only to get in here and to find this. That's probably solid 1/2 inch thick. It's got some work done down here too, but I already got the patch panels for it. I gotta try to see online if I can. I've sandblasted in here. Whole bottom side looks pretty good now, but I'm wondering if anybody makes that inner brace or this one. I want to look and try to see if I can find it, because if I can get that too, that wouldn't be hard to weld in at all. But I guess I'm kind of stumped on the cowl panel right now until at least Tuesday when I get the weld through primer. But other than it, it's pretty much close to done. So I'll probably stop this video here. Hopefully go ahead and get this out. I'm going to beat all this out. You could tell the truck scraped something. Fix the wheel well here. I mean, things you can do with a hammer and dolly in a little bit of time is pretty crazy. So hopefully knock all that out, and then get this fender in epoxy, and hopefully maybe shortly after get the other fender in epoxy. It's nowhere near as bad, I don't believe. So stay tuned. Watch out for the next video.